there are 5 types of people that I think you need to have in your life someplace. You need to have on your team, in your cast, somewhere. 5 types of people. And as I go through these for you, I want you to ask yourself, do I have this person in my life? Think about your personal life, your volunteer life, your professional life. Do I have this person in my life? And am I this person for somebody else's life? So let's talk about the 5 people you need to have in your world. The first person you need a smart person who disagrees with you. A smart person who disagrees with you. I can see some of you out there right now, you're thinking, yeah, I got that one covered. Yeah, I'm married. Mm-hmm. Smart person, this is the one who's going to cause you to question and really look at your beliefs. This is the Watson to your Sherlock Holmes. It's the Spock to your Captain Kirk. This is the one who's going to make you question your ideas, reevaluate your ideas, maybe even abandon your ideas. You know, the smart person, and this is the one that a lot of leaders have a problem with. Because a lot of leaders have this misconception that they need to be the smartest person in the room all the time. I'm curious, have you ever worked with somebody like that? Let me see. Wow. Yeah. Oh. How many of you have ever worked for somebody like that? Yeah. How many of you are sitting next to somebody like that right now? There we go. Some leaders feel like they need to be the smartest person in the room. Well, there's a guy named Jason Jennings who wrote a great book called The Reinventors. And if you were to get this book, turn to page 41, read the bottom paragraph, you would read this sentence. Any boss who has to be the smartest person in the room hijacks the dialogue, signaling correct comments and conclusions that stifle good ideas. Let me tell you, stifling good ideas is not the way to produce a great show. You need a smart person who disagrees with you. The second person you need is you need a butt kicker. If you're not that person, you need a butt kicker on your team. This is the let's go person, you know, the action person. This is the Captain Kirk to your Mr. Spock. Because do you remember the Star Trek series? Any of you ever seen Star Trek? Remember Captain Kirk? You know, either you saw it in the first run or the reruns or the remakes, whoever's playing Captain Kirk now. But Captain Kirk, remember this. Captain Kirk, he was always the guy who would say, Scotty, beam us down to that hostile planet. Come on, we got to go now, right? And Spock would say, Captain, that's not a good idea. It's a hostile planet. They're going to kill us all. And then Kirk would say, no, they're not. Just the guy wearing the red shirt. We're wearing yellow shirts. We're going to be fine. Come on, let's go. And the guy in the red shirt said, well, can I change my shirt first? No, we got to go. I don't want to die. I don't want to. Right. It sounds stupid, but you need that person. You need that person, because if you don't have, look, if your starship is full of nothing but Spocks, then every day is going to be meetings. That's it. One meeting, followed by another meeting, followed by a focus group, followed by a white paper about the second meeting. And nothing's going to get done. You need a butt kicker. It's an irritating person. If it's not you, it's got to be somebody else. You need a butt kicker. Third person you need a veteran, especially when you're going to the IMTS show. You want somebody in your cast who's been there before. You need a veteran. This is the person who can tell you that that wheel that you've been working so hard on has already been invented. This is your Obi-Wan Kenobi. The one who can take you by the shoulder and say, Luke, let me tell you about the Force. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier. You need that veteran, somebody who's been there before. Some people call it a mentor, but whatever. It's the person who knows where the potholes are and who knows where the speed bumps are. And more importantly, who knows that you can get past them. Because if you're a first-timer, those of you going for the first time, the first pothole you hit or the first speed bump, you might think, I'll never make it through here. The veterans is somebody who said, yeah, you can and you will, and let me show you how. You need to have a veteran on your team. And those of you who've been to 50 bazillion of these shows, like Peter or whatever, I mean, make sure that you're a mentor, a veteran for somebody else who hasn't been to it. Again, that's what IMTS is all about. Fourth person you need Fourth person you need is you need a guy who knows a guy, or a gal who knows a gal. This is the person. Do you know people like this? Who just, they know everybody? You know what I mean? There was a show back in the 1970s, I don't know if you remember it, it was called MASH. Very popular show. It took place in the middle of nowhere at a mobile army surgical hospital in the South Korean War, in the middle of nowhere. And there was this character, Radar O'Reilly. And those of you who ever saw the show, remember, Radar, with one phone call, could get anything anybody needed, because he had all these connections. He knew everybody. You know, this is the person. In fact, Malcolm Gladwell, his book, The Tipping Point, you probably all have heard this or read it, The Tipping Point, he calls these people the connectors. The connectors. These are the people who, when you tell them what the show is that you're trying to produce, they're the ones who say, I know exactly who you need to talk to. Do you know people like that? I know exactly who you need to call. And then they'll set it up. These people are your human shortcuts. By the way, the IMTS Exhibitor Passport is kind of like your software version of a guy who knows a guy, or a gal who knows a gal. Because Passport, I don't know if you were in Steve Miller's presentation, but Passport knows everybody who's been to IMTS, to the big show for the past several shows. I mean, talk about connections. And you can drill down, well, I mean, you know what Passport does. Either you're sold on it, or you will be sold on it, or you should be sold on it. It's the software version of this person. But either way, you need to have the guy who knows the guy. And the last person you need, and I'm absolutely serious about this, last person you need in your cast is you need the wacky neighbor. Trust me on this. You need the wacky neighbor. This is the unconventional thinker. It's the Norton on The Honeymooners. It's the Kramer on Seinfeld. It's the person who's going to come up with the ideas that nobody else would have come up with. And by the way, there's a good chance that this person is going to come from outside your industry. Because, look, it's incredibly valuable that you're all here together for this. It's incredible because you all see the world through a similar filter. You know, mechanical technology, I mean, you know that world. You get that world. You see that world. You know what the challenges are. You know what the successes are. You know what's coming around the bend. You know that, and you're all here together, and you can share stories. Haven't you found that a lot of the value of events like this doesn't happen so much here up on the stage, it happens out there in the hallway. Have you found that to be true? With the conversations you get to have with each other. Because you've been there before, because you know this world. And that's incredibly valuable. That said, if you really want to come up with the breakthrough ideas, the ones that the competition would never think of, you need somebody who sees the world through a different filter. You know what I mean? Who sees the world differently.